Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am judging more of your viewer submitted cars, but today we have an exciting twist. If you guys saw the video a couple weeks ago, I announced that I was doing this along with a Super Clean contest. So the awesome people over at Super Clean have decided to give you guys some of their awesome products for free. The only stipulations were to have a US address, and you had to submit your cars to me for judging. So how we're going to do this is I have a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm going to go through all of the submissions, and everyone is going to get their own number. At the end of the video, I will put all of the numbers, I don't know how many submissions we got, into a random number generator, and whoever number comes up, they will win the Super Clean prize. So, super excited to get into this. We have quite a few submissions, so this might be a long video, but I am excited. So, the first one here, we have Sebastian. He says, "Hey Zach, I'm Sebastian and I drive a 2002 Mark IV Jetta 1.8 turbo 5-speed. I've had the car for 2 years now, and it's been the most reliable thing I've owned. I used to drive to high school, and now recently I've been using it for college. The car has a Miro Type 111 wheels, coilovers, catless downpipe, Spec D, headlights, OEM Recaros, a Stage 2 tune, and other goodies. Currently in the process of parting it out though, since I want to get a Honda chassis to take on track. Anyway, love the videos. Keep up the good work." Thank you. I like it. It looks actually really clean, especially for a Mark IV here. Going through some of the pictures, I love the 1.8T. I've driven it in another Mark IV, I believe, an 01. This is an 02, so yeah, right in that generation. I did not know that they came with the factory Recaros. That is an interesting touch. So, thank you, Sebastian. You are number one in our hearts and on the track, and good luck with the Honda chassis. By the way, I haven't looked through these yet, so yeah. Number two, we have Invade for Life, aka Ryan. He said, "Just want to share a couple pictures and a walk-around video of my 2009 Pontiac G8 GT, sporting Workmeisters and BC coilovers. It's unique in the G8 Commodore world, to say the least. I've been watching your channel for over a year now and love the rotary educational stuff. In fact, I've been looking to trade my G8 for a rotary-powered car because of you. Anyways, as a detailer, I'd love to give Super Clean products a try, as I love their basic degreaser and I've been wanting to try more. I apologize if the pictures too large to be viewed on email. It's purely because of the photo resolution. My G8 features a BTR Stage 2 cam, 4,000 RPM single disc Circle D, stall converter, long tube headers, 3-inch exhaust, as well as a ton of other little things." First of all, I've always wanted to drive a G8. I've actually never driven a G8 before, and I drove an SS a year ago, and I absolutely loved that, and that video actually did really well for me. And as you guys know, I used to own a Pontiac G6, so this was like always something to aspire to. The car looks super clean. I really like it. I really love Pontiacs just because they are going away, and I think what you've done with the stance, especially the wheels, not the wheels that everyone tends to go with on these cars, but I think it actually works really well. Especially the fitment in the rear, I really am impressed with. So overall, Ryan, great car. I love the G8. And you are number two on the list. Number three, we have Liam. And he says, "I have my 1978 town car that you reviewed before, and I also have my FB. I just got the FB back on the road after 10 or so years of sitting, and I am prepping a 6-port 13B to put into it once the 12A blows." So this is funny, actually. Yes, I did review this Lincoln Town car, this 1978. And the pictures he sent me were the pictures that I took of his car, which is just really funny. I think about this Lincoln quite frequently. I really love driving it, and it was really my introduction to 70s boaty cars. I mean, this thing really floated. Plus, the night before I drove this car, I went to the Ford Museum, the Henry Ford, and so it was just all, it was a Ford weekend, and I really love that. And of course, getting an FB back on the road is absolutely awesome. I have seen it in person, which is super exciting. And I love those wheels, man. I still love those wheels. So Liam, you are number three for the giveaway. And that's one other thing I want to point out before we get on to the next viewers is the reason I'm doing this numbered system is because I have reviewed some of these cars, or I know these people personally, and I want to give everyone a fair chance. And so that's why I'm doing the random number generator, just to take any sort of biases out of it. Next up is Logan the Dude, number 4. He says, hello, this is my 1985 Toyota Cressida wagon. This is my first car. I bought it with a broken automatic transmission, so I had to save up some money to fix it, and now it runs and drives with a W58 5-speed transmission from a Mark II Supra. Here it is. I hope you like it. I actually really, really like it. I love the old square bodies. I actually haven't driven a Cressida, and I've always been interested in them. I feel like I've sort of dabbled around them. Someone recently asked me if I had driven a Cressida, I think in the Ask Me Questions video, and I said in that video I sort of have dabbled around them. I've driven Chasers, and I've driven Toyota Mark IIs, and things like that, but I haven't actually driven a Cressida. I love the wagon. I love wagons. Wagons are my favorite, and it's boxy. It's from the 80s. I mean, this thing really checks all my boxes. So, Logan the Dude, you are number 4. Next up, we have Jacob Owen. He says, I think you reviewed my Silver FD, so I wanted to submit the new project. I actually didn't. Jacob, I never got to review the Silver FD. I saw it in person multiple times, but I never actually ended up filming it, and I wish I would have, but, you know, things happen. He says, this is my 94 CW Touring FD. CW, I believe, is crystal white, if I remember. Picked it up in Denver, Colorado with a blown coolant seal, dropped it off at a local shop to have the engine rebuilt, aiming to make it a 99 spec clone in a sense. And he gave his information. So this is a super clean car. I'm really, really glad that he was able to pick this up. Unfortunately, something happened to his previous FD, and now he has a very, very clean shell to work with, which will be very awesome to see. So, Jacob, you are number 5. Moving right along, we have Garrett Paxson. He said, here's my 96 Miata M Edition. I've had it for over a year now and enjoyed the hell out of it. Thanks for reading this if you do, and keep up with the cool rotary vids. And here is my information. Clean Miata. I do like the wheels here, and I like the tan top. If I would have kept my white Miata, I would have gone with a tan top had I put a new top on it, which actually I've been wanting to make an update video because I actually sold that car to a friend of mine. It now has a new top. It has a hard top. It has steel wheels for the winter because he does drive it in the winter, and has a new transmission, actually. So he ended up blowing the transmission up in Daisy. So maybe one day I will do an update on my old Miata. But super, super clean Miata, and I hope you keep it this way. I mean, I know a lot of people want to modify the crap out of their Miatas, but the stock ones are kind of where it's at. So, Garrett, you are number 6. Next up, we have Samuel with his 1986 Nissan Stanza. He says, hey, my name is Samuel, and this is Bingo. She's a 1986 Nissan Stanza T12 sedan. This is the pre-facelift 1986 model with a 3-speed automatic transmission and the CA20E inline 4. I'm the 3rd owner of this car, and I bought it off Craigslist for $700 with a total of 92,000 miles on the odometer. I was told by the 2nd owner that the very first owner was a sweet old lady that bought it new and used it as a grocery getter. It had 60,000 miles on it when I bought it. The car was in a little oopsie, hence why I got it so cheap. But besides the bodywork and maybe the engine, it has some problems here and there. Everything else is in wonderful shape. It has power windows and a sunroof, which is fantastic for 86, which is rare for an economy car of this vintage. I'd say there is absolutely no rust on the car, that I can find, which is unbelievable. So this is really, really cool. I've never even really seen a Nissan Stanza before, which is really, really unique. And I think it's cool that you're sort of bringing it back to its former glory. People always ask me, and I know I've said this in a million videos, they're like, what are the coolest cars that you get to drive? I reviewed a Lamborghini Huracan, and it was really, really insanely cool and a fantastic day. I've driven the new Porsche 911 on a racetrack. I got to do 128 miles an hour in it. But what gets me excited, what I actually think about the most, are cars like this. This Nissan Stanza is just something so unique. It's really, really interesting to me. It's just these older 80s economy overlooked cars that didn't get much media coverage then and haven't gotten much media coverage since. I think these are really, really, really cool. Samuel, you are number 7. Next up, we have Casey submitting two vehicles here, which is a Kia Stinger and a Porsche 944. So not a whole lot of information here, but I know that Casey actually texted me to review these vehicles, and unfortunately right now it is super snowy here in the Midwest, but because it is snowy here in the Midwest, unfortunately I can't review your cars quite yet, but once all this stuff thaws, I am 100% down to come down and see, especially this Porsche 944. I have really fallen for Porsches recently, and the 944 has been something that has always been lurking in the corners for me, but I've never driven one because they look so much like the second gen RX-7, a little bit even like the first gen RX-7. The front bumper kind of looks like an SA. I feel like I've always been two steps away from a 944, so I will definitely be reaching out to you, and hopefully we can set something up soon. So number 8 is Casey with the 944 and Kia Stinger. Next we have Jacob, and he says, "Hey everyone, this is my 2001 Mercury Grand Marquis. It's my first car and has 80,000 miles on it and has true dual straight pipes with Crown Victoria LX Sport wheels. Obviously a lot has been done cosmetically, not too much performance-wise since it takes a lot of money to make these cars decently fast. Thanks for everything you do." So I really actually like the look of this. I like the updated Crown Vic wheels. I think they're simple and they kind of look like an OEM Plus style look on the Grand Marquis. I've always liked Grand Marquis. I've always liked Panther platforms. I think it's a really good chassis. Hopefully here I actually got reached out to by someone who was doing a manual swap on a Crown Vic, which should be interesting. And I like the 4.6 badge on the side. I've never actually seen that before on any Panther platform. I think that that's really cool. So number 9 here is Jacob Moon. Next up we have Jim. He says, "Aloha, I live in Maui and full-time artist and car YouTube addict. This is my greatest achievement in the works and will be painted in a few days. I'm struggling to get my YouTube channel started, but I'm not giving up. Mahalo, Unicorn Drives." This is the most unique car for sure that I have seen. Not really sure what it is, if I'm totally honest, but this thing looks super, super cool, super rad. It looks like maybe something British, definitely older. And I love that. I love seeing different types of builds. I get a lot of RX-7 submissions, and that's not to say I dislike RX-7s. I love RX-7s. There's a picture of two of them on the coast of California right there. That's the patent drawing for an RX-7, as well as that one. That's a picture of my RX-7. Those are RX-7 diecast. That's us in front of our Spec Miata. I obviously love those, but I love seeing this cool, unique stuff that you just don't get all that much. And I don't think I've ever gotten a submission from Hawaii, which is really, really cool. I'd love to visit Hawaii if I'm ever out that way. I would love to see this thing in person, maybe even review it if you're up for it. Definitely shoot me an email if you are. But Jim, you are number 10. Next up is Christian. He said, "I've had my 91 FC for almost 3 years. Right now she's inoperable due to a heater hose blowing up. In the long run, burnt out my coolant seal in the second rotor housing. At the moment, she will stay in my backyard until I have the money to fix her, but I do plan on building a 13B Turbo 2 engine and install it in my FC. Here's to 2022. Oh, spoken like a true project car owner." Pretty clean, though, I do have to say, for an FC. You know, FCs are becoming harder and harder to find clean. Pretty simple, pretty basic build, but, you know, all the power to you in 2022 to get this thing back on the road. I know they're not the cheapest things in the world, but I think, as you and I both know, it is definitely worth it. So, Christian, you are number 11. This one is from Nick. He says, "How's it going, Zach? This is my 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis LS Ultimate Edition. It currently has 94,000 miles on the odometer. I bought it with 82,000 miles as my first car from a used car specialist who specializes in luxury vehicles. She's had 4 previous owners, and they all seem to take care of her pretty well. Still, this car has air ride suspension and everything works. I've invested countless hours and tears into her, and she's never let me down. The only mod I have is a Flowmaster muffler." You kind of have to do that on Panther platforms. Other than that, it's just been a basic maintenance with all OEM parts. I hope you like it, and thank you for your considerations in the contest. Sincerely, Nick. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think, Nick, you might have sent me this before. I've definitely seen this Panther platform before. I think you submitted for a different judging video, which is great. That doesn't like disqualify you or anything. Super clean here. 90,000 miles, but still it looks factory fresh. And I really do love the look of it, and you know, there's almost nothing as comfortable as a Panther platform. So Nick S., you are number 12. Next up is Tyler. Tyler, you are number 13. Lucky 13. We'll see if it pays off. And I actually know Tyler personally. He says, I have a 2014 Fiat 500 Abarth. The car is decently modified with stage 1 tune, burbles, catless downpipe intake, and I have a few other parts to put on, come spring with coilovers, diverter valve, and rear wiper delete. So I've known Tyler for quite some time, and I've always loved his 500. It looks really cool, and I know he's had it for some time, which is really great to see someone actually sticking with these platforms, because I love the 500 Abarths. I reviewed one last year and I absolutely loved it, but I feel like they just don't get enough attention. They are affordable enthusiast cars. They are very fun to drive, very responsive, like a go-kart, but people just see the Fiat 500 in it and they look elsewhere, and I think that you're really missing out on something special when you overlook the 500 Abarth. Next up is the Lincoln Town Car man himself. He says, here is my 2006 Lincoln Town Car and my channel I would like to enter your contest with. I've been following Vitaly for quite some time. He does a lot of Panther platform Lincoln Town Car videos, so definitely check out his channel, Vitaly Kaufman. You could just search up Lincoln Town Car guy and it'll come up. Really cool stuff. And you are number 14. And yes, I do want to collaborate hopefully this summer when COVID dies down and hopefully people are vaccinated, things like that. When we can safely do it, I definitely want to meet up and shoot some videos together. I still am looking forward to that. I know we had some stuff planned last summer, and unfortunately things fell through. But I am looking forward to this summer. All right, next up is Colby. Colby, you're 15. He says, hi, Zach. This is my entry ×3. I have a 2007 Mustang GT as my first car. Here's the progress from 2014 to now. It is all stock besides an exhaust and tune. The second one is a 2004 Mazda Speed Miata. Love these things. Got this car in 2019 on a trade and fell in love immediately. Light mods such as an AEM intake, Turbo Smart blow-off valve, Flying Miata 3-inch downpipe, and a Flying Miata Happy Meal clutch. Last is a 1988 Mazda Rx-7 Pride and Joy. Got this S4 after I gave up on my 89. Full S5 swap, including street-ported 6-port turbo. Like most other 7s, it's not running. Hoping to make around 300 horsepower with a Microtech. Yeah, definitely sounds like you'll be making 300 horsepower with that setup for sure. But these all look great. Not a big fan of this body style of Mustang, I have to say. It's probably one of my least favorite body styles, just because I drove a GT500 and it was so bad, it really turned me off. However, I like the pinstripes, and I like the tasteful modifications in that. Gotta love a Mazda Speed Miata. Absolutely fall in love with Mazda Speed Miatas, and the FC is great as well. Next up is David P. He says, hi, Zach. Love the channel. Thank you. Here's my 2010 Mustang Convertible. I love how modern and retro it is at the same time. It's really a dream, and I treat it like a baby. I like these body styles a little bit better. I think I did a 2010 V8 automatic, not in a convertible though. I haven't reviewed a convertible. Really interesting here. This is where Mustangs start to get a little bit better for me. I still prefer the very most modern Mustang. I think is the best of the recent more modern Mustangs, but I like the look of it, and it looks like in the picture there's some diamond stitching maybe on the door card in the back, so that's pretty neat for a Mustang. David, you are number 16. Next up, we have Tucker Riley. He said, hey, how's it going? I'm sending you pictures of my 2017 Honda Civic SI. It's my toge car that I take on the tail of the Dragon and other mountain roads. It's a simple build, but still a work in progress. So far, it has a MagnaFlow catback exhaust, Enkei PF01s, with 265s in the front and 255s in the rear, a tune from Hondata, and grippy tires. Oh, and P.S., I'm the dude that owns the 1991 Honda Today that you reviewed with Scott's collection. My Instagram is NachoPanda98 if you're interested. I think I actually followed you. I think I actually followed you after I reviewed the Honda today. I'm pretty sure. I've definitely seen that screen name before. But getting back to the Civic, I like the look of it. I like how clean and simple it is. It's not overdone. I like the basic mods. I like how you haven't sticker bombed a fender yet, and things like that. Really clean, simple, and Civic SIs are just such fun cars. I'll hate on Honda all day, mainly for the memes, but when it comes down to it, SIs are fantastic, fantastic cars, and so are the Honda Todays. Oh my god. The Honda Todays I still think about pretty regularly, and that was October that I drove those. Tucker, you are number 17. Next up is Matthew. He said, hey, Zach, my car is an '07 WRX wagon. Here's a quick overview of it. It's a really simple build. Nothing has changed suspension or wheels-wise. Engine-wise, the car has a VF39 turbo, which is from a '06 WRX STI, a full catless exhaust, and Pro Tune. The car has been on 18 pounds of boost for around 145K and has 217,000 miles on it. Still the same block, knock on wood. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's clean and simple. This is really impressive to me, a 217,000 mile WRX wagon that has been making 18 pounds of boost for 145,000 miles. That is very, very impressive. Very, very clean here. I love the Hawkeye front end. I just think this is really, really clean. I want to drive more wagons so bad. And I'm glad that you're keeping this thing clean, and I'm jealous that you're down south because you guys get all the clean chassis. But Matthew, you are number 18. Next up, we have Nico. He said, this is my 1991 FC3S I picked up a few years ago when I sold my super clean GXL. I had the car for 2 years till the motor decided to grenade itself in terms of apex seals. For about a year, it sat in the garage and accumulated a bunch of aftermarket parts. I wanted to autocross it when it was stock, but I didn't really get to. I've autocrossed it since the new build, but I feel the car is a bit too laggy for autocross. I plan to track it in the near future and have some fun with it. So he has a huge mod list here, mainly Aria Mimia parts, which is very, very legitimate parts, which is really, really cool to see on an FC. I don't see the kit too much. So I think it's not too overplayed, which is great. I'm not a big fan of the non-pop-up front bumper, but to each their own. And overall it looks great, and he sent some more pictures here as well. So really, really clean build. Like I said, big props for having a proper Aria Mimia painted body kit. You just don't see that all too much. So Nico, you are number 19. Next up is from Adhesive. He says, hi, I'm a big fan of your channel. Here's my car. We don't own it anymore, so sadly we can't win, but still would like to be judged for the video. So Adhesive, you will not be getting a number like we said, but it is a 2002 Chevy Monte Carlo SS with the 3.8 liter. I've always been intrigued by these, especially the Dale Earnhardt editions. I'd love to track one of those down just because I think they're so peculiar. But I really, really like these. The 3.8 is pretty much bulletproof and very easy to supercharge as well. So pretty cool car. Next up is from Winston. He said, here's my car just recently purchased. It's a 2017 Honda Civic hatchback. I plan on using it as a daily, while I will be adding some mods later. Keep up the good work on the channel. So pretty clean and simple here. I love the dark wheels on the silver. I think that's a really good look. But other than that, pretty simple. If it is a manual transmission car, I would look into doing the shifter mod where there's a little bit of rev hang when it comes to the shifters. But if it's an automatic, I mean, really, I would just say if you want to get into some modifications, just like light suspension, maybe a strut bar, stiffen it up a little bit. And that's really all you need to do to these kinds of cars. So Winston, you are number 20. Next up is from Chris. He says, hi, Zach. Here's pictures of my 2008 Subaru STI for the Super Clean contest. Bought this car last year as a new daily driver. The paint is in poor shape, but it looks great after a full buff, polish, and ceramic coating. I've also been changing it from the previous owner's mods for some better daily driving. Stage 2 plus OEM SPT exhaust, factory forged BBS wheels, 2019 STI struts, and modern head unit with CarPlay. Now, Chris and I have a history, actually. I reviewed his NSX, coming up on 3 years ago. And I've been meaning to get up there. I know we talked very briefly about the 2008 STI. The 2008 STI is hands down my favorite generation of STI, and I would love to review one. I think Chris and I might be able to work something out, so this car might be on the channel later if he's still comfortable with it and things like that. But man, I just love this generation. Chris, you are number 21. And thank you for the support for all of these years. I really do appreciate that. And I hope we can get together soon once more of this stuff blows over. Next is from Kiros. He said, just got this 1993 Mazda Miata LE. I talked him down to 2,800. It was sitting for 4 years, but after jumping it started right up. It has a couple issues, and it seems to randomly be dying, but it seems like a good pickup. So looking at the pictures here, I've always been a big fan of the LEs, whether that be for the FB or the NA. It looks like a great car. I hope you fix the misfire issue or the dying issue, but overall, I mean, I miss my Miata every day, man. Every single day, I miss my Miata. Kiros, you are number 22. Cherish that thing, man. Cherish it. Next up, we have Iran. He said, this is my 2002 Mazda Rx-7 FD3S Bathurst Type R. Bathurst Type R, sorry. I absolutely love it to bits. I've owned it since March of 2020 after buying it in the biggest in-between college class rush possible. The car was brought over from Japan in 2019, where the previous owner sent it to a shop and ended up breaking the car more than fixing it. I bought the car to fix it up after it sat for about 6 months. If you're interested, I have many more photos to send throughout its life, but here's all that Gmail will offer. When we eventually got the car started, it quickly smoked out the whole workshop due to the oil burning throughout the system. The lead cause was a blown sequential stock twin turbos. Once all fixed, the car has been running well. 5-speed manual has been a dream. The sound is nothing short of amazing, and it's overall a very fun car. Thank you for hosting the competition. If you ever want to do some form of collaboration or want any content or videos of the car, feel free to reach out. Been quite a fan for a while. Yes. First of all, I would love to film this car if I ever get my dumb butt over to Australia, which hopefully will happen within the next 2 years. Would be great. Of course, pandemic pending, but I would love to film this. First of all, 2002, last year of the Rx-7, something that we will not see here in the States until 2027 is the first year we can import these. So that's really cool to see. I love the color of it. I love the fact that it's an actual Bathurst Type R. Just everything about this car is just awesome. I know he's submitted this car before. I know I've seen this car before, which is just really cool. Unfortunately, due to Super Clean's rules, I cannot send things down under, but hopefully one day I will send myself down under and I will film this car. Hopefully before 2027 when they're legal here, because that would be cool to film something before it was legal in the US. Next up is from Alexander. Alexander says, this is the day I bought my 1997 Mazda Miata STO edition and I was so excited. I dreamed of getting Miata for 2 years and I finally bought one myself. Quite an upgrade from a gray on gray 2008 Corolla. This was the interior. It was a very sad day when I found out that the noise my Miata had been making since I bought it was a rod knock. I feel stupid for buying a broken car, but I was learning manual on the test drive and I don't remember hearing anything until the drive home from getting it. I had spent every penny I owned on getting this car and it kind of sucked. On this day, Aaron's engine seized. I had only driven it 5 miles since I found out it had rod knock and I was babying it like crazy. I only took it out on a drive because my girlfriend had come from college in Colorado and it was her first time seeing Aaron. Sadly, my car wouldn't run for a month and a half. This is where things start to look up. I had gotten the old engine out and got a new engine from Japan. It's an NB2 engine with VVTi. Had a square top intake with only 60,000 miles. You can see the JDM plaque and Japanese writing on the valve cover. So this is a VVT swapped NA Miata, which is really cool. The VVT was the second gen motor from the NBs. This is really cool. I think it's a great story. My dad actually pretty much learned stick shift when he bought his Rx-7 back in the day, so I definitely have heard stories like that before, and it's really fun. Hearing people's stories of when they, trial by fire are sort of my favorite stories. It's great that you got the car running again, which is awesome. I think it's great here. He put that his friend Nathan and his girlfriend have now gotten into cars. So it's really cool to see stuff like that. Alexander, you are number 23. Next up, we have Cody. He says, "Hi, Zach. Am I allowed 3 entries as I have 3 cars? I'd like to enter each vehicle. This only counts as 1. Cody, you are number 24, but I will take a look at all of your cars." So this is his 2002 Subaru Wrx. It started life as a bone stock daily driver for my wife in 2016 and my weekend car, so I had no plans to modify it at first until my wife said she would be passing the car over to me full-time soon, and thus the journey began. It now has 317 wheel horsepower on E85, and I personally have done every modification to it. Turned every bolt, changed every body part inside and out, and even took home my firstborn from the hospital in it, and moved places in it. Below is a long list of mods and some pictures. I also included a picture or two of when it was stock. Sorry if the pictures get out of order. Really, really cool to see stuff like that. Definitely, I think this is a car you're going to keep forever, especially bringing home a firstborn child. I mean, that's something totally special with a car. I like the look of it. Bug eyes have a special place in my heart. He has tons of mods here that literally, this video is so long, by the way. I don't have time to go through all of these mods, but really, really cool. A lot of JDM proper STI V7 mods, which is really, really cool to see. He also submitted his 88 RX-7 FC. He learned stick in this car, which is really, really cool. It's a decent looking FC, not too bad. You gotta love a second gen RX-7. Next up, this is not from the US, so unfortunately this will not be counted in the contest, but this is from our boy Fabby. He says, "This is mine and my dad's Ford Focus Mark 1 1.8 liter NA. I bought this car in August of 2020. It's my first car. In the time of owning it, we fixed some rust, replaced the front springs because they broke the first day of owning it, and I got some new wheels. Now the car is used as a delivery vehicle by my dad until I get my license. Looking forward to driving this beast on the road." Nothing too crazy here, but it is a very, very decent first car, which is awesome. It looks really clean. I like that you've actually been fixing rust and suspension instead of just spray painting the taillights black and slamming it to the ground. And it's always cool to see stuff from Europe. I would love to work my way over there at some point. Next up is from Steve. Steve, you're number 25. He said, "Very cool, super clean to host this giveaway." Yes, thank you, Super Clean, for doing this. He says, "Last Thanksgiving, I bought this clean NB. I've been searching for over a year to find this exact spec Miata. It had to be green with black cloth, sport package, hard S in the specific package, and no rust. I am local to you, so I know that rust can be an issue. This car lived its whole life in upstate New York, and I bought the car from a truck driver who drove it to Chicago in the summer I bought it. It needed a new top, and after I stored it for the winter, it had a radiator leak. Upgraded to a Koyo Rad replacement and all new hoses and thermostat for the car. This fall, I painted the wheels gold as all the factory clear was gone and needed a refresh. I've been really enjoying this car and have some ideas for it this coming spring. A review from you would be great too if you want after I clean up a few more things." Yes, this would be really cool. Always looking forward to getting more NBs under my belt, and I'm just really itchy to get back behind the wheel of a Miata, especially here in the winter. But I like it. I like the gold wheels. I like your approach of finding something that was good from the factory that you can sort of preserve instead of buying something, cutting the back end off, putting a weird cage in it, or, slamming it to the ground and tilting the wheels 30 degrees. I really, really like this sort of OEM plus approach. That's the approach I'm going to take with my RX-7, so definitely I can appreciate that. Steve, you are number 25. We are getting towards the end here. Don't worry. Next up is from our friend Rick. I actually reviewed one of Rick's other Festivas, man, coming up on 2 years ago again, man, time flies. But this is something really, really cool. This is his 1990 Ford Festiva Rare Surf Blue. I bought it as a non-running car in the fall of 2018. I pulled the original engine 1.3 liter single overhead cam out and swapped in a Mazda 1.6 liter single overhead cam from a Mazda 323. Engine was rebuilt, block honed, new rings, bearings, and gaskets, and a timing belt. All the maintenance has been done. Black epoxy coated, powder coated intake, new clutch, axles, tubular exhaust, manifold, straight pipe, 2-inch exhaust, AC compressor, compressor Mercury Capri hubs that have been rebuilt. They're essentially a big brake kit for the Festivas. The only thing left to do is charge the AC, clean the interior, replace the e-brake cable, and a little bit of body work. I'm including pictures of when I first got it and how it sits today. So hopefully, again, this is another one of these vehicles that hopefully you'll actually see on the channel at some point again. Rick and I have been talking back and forth about a possible review of this, especially since it's going from a 1.3 to a 1.6 swap. I think is really cool. And Surf Blue for the Festivas was sort of rare, but also super, super 90s, which is just the coolest thing. So Rick, you are number 26. So, with Rick and the Festivas, that brings us to the end. Those are the submissions that I received that are eligible. We have 26 eligible people here to win the Super Clean contest. I have not talked to anyone quite yet. So we're going to go to Google here, random number generator, minimum 1, maximum 26. Here we go. It's all coming down to this. Generate, I'm closing my eyes. 21. Chris is the winner with the WRX STI, who also owns the NSX. Chris, you are the winner of the Super Clean contest. I will be giving your information to the Super Clean people. Thank you everyone who has submitted their cars. If anyone on the list or anyone out there wants me to review their car, shoot me another email, give me some more information, because I've actually started a spreadsheet online that has everyone's information of anyone who's offered a car. So if I ever travel, like this summer, I will probably be making a south trip to Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, that sort of area. I can just look at my spreadsheet and say, hey, these are the people that I know of in this area, and I'll reach out to you. And of course, I'll be making a video like that. So if you guys want your cars reviewed, anything you guys have sent or anything you guys might not have sent, please send me an email. Information in the description below. But Chris, I will be in contact with you. I am super excited that Super Clean has done this, and hopefully we can do more of these in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Thank you all for your submissions. Take care.